So, good evening, everybody, and welcome to this conference with Le Cercle de Langues. I am Chanel Garcia, and I will be taking you through a 25-minute conference on emotional vocabulary, expressing your feelings. So, this conference for this evening is a level B1 to level B2. The conference will last for 25 minutes. And for the last 5 minutes, you will have the opportunity to write some questions or answer or ask certain questions if you have them. So please feel free to put your questions in the chat or to write them on a piece of paper, and we can discuss them afterwards. So let's begin. So tonight's conference will feature 4 parts: an introduction, talking about emotional vocabulary, how to express your feelings in a different language, and the last part of tonight's conference will focus on phrases for expressing your feelings. You are more than welcome to take notes and put your emails into the chat so that I may send you the conference via email for you to have a look at the vocabulary. Let's begin. As I said, please have a notebook and pen ready to note down any phrases to check later. Language shapes our emotional world in an important way. Some emotions have no direct translation in English. Does this mean that an English speaker cannot experience these emotions? Not necessarily. People often feel emotions that they struggle to describe. Words for emotions in other languages can offer insights into feelings that might otherwise go unarticulated. For example, dépaysement. It's a feeling of disorientation that comes from traveling in a country or countries that is not your home. It has no direct English equivalent. A classic example of a French emotion that's challenging to translate directly into English is la nostalgie de l'ailleurs. This phrase combines the concept of nostalgia with a longing for an elsewhere, our want to be somewhere else. Philosophers and psychologists have mostly agreed that there are only 6 basic emotions, which include happiness, sadness, anger, disgust, fear, and surprise. Today, researchers are beginning to allow for more varied range of emotions. Therefore, while we explore how to express our emotions today, it is important to remember that the way we may express our emotions in French and English may vary slightly. Emotional vocabulary. What kind of vocabulary do we use when we talk about our emotions? Here are the most common emotions. We will explore many today. However, the list is never ending. So how are you feeling? Are you feeling angry, confident, curious, depressed, disgusted, embarrassed, excited, happy, nervous, sad, scared, or surprised. So when we talk about strong emotions, these emotions are not vague. They are the kinds of emotions that can come on and give us either a strong sensation of happiness or sadness, or degrees thereof. For example, afraid, dissatisfied, bold, bewildered, crying, angry, very good, or frustrated. It's important to remember that these emotions talk about the extremes of certain emotions. For example, when you are frustrated or when you are very angry. Think about a really happy time in your life. We can talk about the feelings of being elated. It's the feeling of being extremely happy and excited. Over the moon, extremely happy and pleased. Thrilled to bits, an expression that means very happy and excited. I am delighted. Delighted is a feeling or showing great pleasure. You are on a high. It is a feeling of being very happy and excited. Or you are ecstatic. When you are ecstatic, it is a feeling or expressing overwhelming happiness or joyful excitement. So you can use either of these words to describe the happiness that you are feeling. And these words can be used at any moment. They just have to be in the correct context. For example, they are more adjectives. I am elated. I am over the moon. I am thrilled to bits. I am delighted. I am on a high. I am ecstatic. They will be used with the verb to be. So, vocabulary for expressing sadness. When reflecting on sad times, such as the loss of a loved one, these expressions can be used. I am devastated. It's a feeling of being extremely upset and shocked. Disheartened, feeling a loss of hope or confidence. Heartbroken, suffering from overwhelming sorrow or grief. Overwhelmed with grief, completely taken over by sorrow. Vocabulary for expressing uncertainty. When you feel unsure about something, you might use these words. To be unsure, to be not certain or confident about something. To be torn, a feeling of being divided between two options. Torn can also be used to describe quelque chose qui est déchiré. So, to be torn is almost to be pulled in two different directions. To be hesitant about something. It's to be unsure and slow in making a decision. Testing the water. Trying something out before making a final decision. To be undecided. Not having made a decision. We can then also talk about neutral or intense emotions. One could be calm, or one could be indifferent. And indifferent means that we do not have a sense of feeling towards something. We neither like it nor we dislike it. We are indifferent. We can be bored or curious, tired or relaxed. Puzzled. So puzzled is another way to say I am a bit confused. it's confusing, it's puzzling. Or we can be neutral, which means no emotion. How do you express your feelings in a different language? Certain cultures also foster much higher rates of emotional dialecticism. And this is the ability to feel mixed emotions at the same time. For example, these traits are found much more often in places including Malaysia, Singapore, the Philippines, Russia, India, and Japan than in Canada, the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom. For English speakers, it's common to express feelings through quotes. For example, from romantic literature, funny movies, or even poetry. So even if we haven't seen the movie Jerry Maguire, for example, most of us get what someone means when they say, "You had me at hello." And to try to explain this saying a bit deeper means that if someone says, "You had me at hello," it's almost as to say, you don't need to say anymore. From the moment that you mentioned or you said the first word, I was already taken in. I was already sure. I was already certain. English people often use humor to convey emotions and feelings by employing techniques like irony and sarcasm. Humor can soften serious subjects and express affection. For example, in Shrek, which was the movie created in 2001, Donkey says, "Wow, that was really scary. And if you don't mind me saying, you look amazing." So here, Donkey uses humor to hide his fear and make Shrek feel better. So a tip, follow blogs and online publications in English, but be sure they match your target age range and interests. Look for metaphors, slang, and pop culture references. This will help you to learn how the language is used to express emotions. So for example, there could be certain expressions used in certain contexts. For example, movies that are dramatic or movies that are comedies, things that are funny, and things that allow us to get in touch with different emotions based on their genre. Finally, what phrases can we use for expressing your feelings? Positive emotions. When you feel joyful, you're happy. She felt joyful when she received the unexpected gift from her friend. When you are excited, you're happy because you're looking forward to something. The children were excited about their upcoming trip to Disneyland. If you are content, you are not extremely happy, but you feel quite satisfied. For example, after a satisfying meal, he went back to work feeling content. Donc en français, I think in French the meaning could be similar. Je suis contente. But maybe it has a slightly happier meaning in French. C'est peut-être une fausse amie. So we just have to be careful of that, because if I say, je suis contente, it almost expresses a deeper happiness than it would in English. If I say I'm content, it's not that I'm overjoyed. It just means that I am okay. I'm good. When you are grateful, you feel thankful for something. She was grateful for the support and kindness shown to her during difficult times. When you are proud, you feel respect for yourself. He was proud of his daughter's achievement in school. Negative emotions. When you are offended, you feel angry or hurt by something. She was offended by the rude remark made by her coworker during the meeting. If you are anxious, you feel worried or uneasy about something. She felt very anxious about giving a presentation, but it went well. When you are frustrated, you feel annoyed because something is not working or happening the way you want it to. After hours of trying to assemble the complicated furniture, he grew frustrated. If you are disappointed, you are unhappy because something was not as good as you thought it would be. She was disappointed when the concert she has been looking forward to was cancelled. Feeling guilty means that you feel bad for something you did wrong. She felt guilty for eating sweets, especially since she had promised herself to stick to a healthy diet. Now we talk about feelings of health. We could say, I feel sick. I am poorly. I feel a little under the weather today. You look unwell. Are you okay? James is ill, so he will not be in class today. Feelings of energy or lack thereof, so less energy. We say, I'm so tired after working all day. I am sleepy because I went to bed late last night. My medication has made me feel drowsy. So drowsy is sleepy. The test was very hard, so I feel drained now. You must be, we have a little word that's missing. You must be worn out after that hike. I need to sit down. I am exhausted. When you have feelings of fear, I always feel scared when I watch scary movies on my own. I am afraid of the dark. Chris is fearful he will fail the test. I was frightened when I thought I heard a ghost. I am terrified of spiders. I was petrified when I found a spider in my bed. In conclusion, have you ever found yourself at a loss for words when trying to express an emotion in your native language? Or perhaps you've experienced a moment where a word in another language perfectly captured how you felt, but your own language fell short. Understanding how language and emotions interact can deepen our empathy and improve our communication with others across cultural boundaries. So thank you for watching this evening's conference. Do you have any questions or comments that you would like to make on this evening's conference? You may now unmute your microphone if you would like to say anything. Thank you, Eric. So Eric says it was very clear. Thank you, Eric. Well, I will send you the PDF so you can now leave your emails in the chat. Like that, after the conference, I can send you the PDF and you are more than welcome to revise some of these terms that we use to describe emotions so that when you communicate in future, you can communicate with the clarity that you would like. So thank you everyone for joining me for this evening's conference and have a wonderful weekend. I will see you next week.